Broadcasting from the Teddy Belanger Memorial Studio in Rome, New York. Welcome into episode 107 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name's Todd Emanuele. Ryan Boyles is over there, as always, right next to me. And we are welcoming in a very special guest, a very timely guest for the release of Seth Avett's new Darling album, which I don't know that we really know how to say the name of the album yet. Maybe our guest will know. Tim Mossberger is back, the Avett Archivest. Thank you, Tim, for stopping by with us tonight.
No problem.
Welcome, Tim.
Do you know how to say the name of the album? Is it Feathe? Is it Feathe? Faith?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Tim does
open to interpretation, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Why don't we just start there? We're going to talk about the music. Seth has released a couple of singles from the album. But the title he announced yesterday, which I argued was probably the worst day to release any news, good or I guess bad day to release news that is good, but probably good day to release news that's bad, because we had the engagement announcement from Travis Swift took over the planet.
I can't ignore that yesterday.
Well, I'm telling you, in my world, that's all people would talk about. They had to take off work, I think. But if we talk about this album that Seth announced in a short video of him out in a pasture with some cows, he revealed that it's coming out next week on September 5th. But I read a comment on Facebook today. I don't know who made it, but that the word Feathe, if that's how you say it, is a combination of the words feel and breathe. Did anybody else read that?
I didn't read that, but that's interesting.
Okay. I think my wife said that she read that today, but it might just be, I don't think that's in any way official because we've not seen anything, but maybe people are grasping for meaning, right?
Seth hasn't even said the name of the album. He just showed visuals of the album coming, and it's like he doesn't want us to know how to say it or something like that. I wonder what it really means.
This is typical Seth, I think.
Right? So Tim, what are your thoughts on what was released today? We're recording this on Wednesday night, so it just came out today.
I don't know where to begin exactly. Obviously, okay, when I heard the promo video the day before, I didn't in any way think that obviously he'd be rapping on the songs, but I did think wow, man, the drums were really out there and programmed, in a hip hop rap way, and similar to what Paul DeFiglio remixed, Ain't No Man years ago. And it's in the intro to the Road to Now podcast is Paul's drums, and so it sounds a little similar to that to me. And I know that Paul is obviously a big hip hop person, and he recorded, and some of the album was done there. So, okay. But I wouldn't have, you couldn't have told me that we were going to get 2 songs of Seth rapping. I didn't think that was going to happen, even though Seth, if you read interviews going back to even the early days, he mentions listening to rap and hip hop a lot, from artists from obviously recently in the last 10 years, the Homeboy Sandman who opened for them. But a lot of times he used to always mention, obviously, Mos Def, Brother Ali, and people similar to that, kind of like your 2000 somewhat underground, what I would consider underground nerdish rappers, kind of clever, not your very super popular, but kind of had a cult following rappers. Like I said,
those
Brother
are the ones
Ali.
I was into though. Come on.
Yeah. So, and this is the 2000, 2005, where, it's like A$AP Rock, Atmosphere, Brother Ali, those people. So I knew that he listened to them. So it's not real surprising to me that he decided to try to rap. Maybe surprising that he released it, I guess, and obviously back in the day, they listened to Outkast and, in the 90s and that kind of stuff.
So do we think the whole album is going to be rap? The first 2 singles are rap, so that kind of points in that direction.
I'm going to guess no. Okay. But I'm going to guess they released the 2 to kind of be so it isn't even a shock. This is what you're getting. But I
get people to pay attention and really wonder.
Maybe more than 50% would be my guess. I think a big chunk of it will be. I do think a big chunk.
Well, I just remember the last album that they released, the the untitled, not untitled, what the last album, whatever. You
Last
wanna call it.
Darling or the last Avett?
No, the last Avett album.
Okay.
Like the first song that they released was Love of a Girl, and it was like, whoa, are we gonna have a whole rock album and all that? And it turned out to be nothing like that. So that's I'm kind of thinking maybe the same thing
Darling
here.
is different than the Avett Brothers. He's
Well,
always
right.
approached it of, these are songs I wouldn't put on the Avett Brothers. He's always, this is his story of his life. It's separate from the Avett Brothers, even though there's can be some crossover. There's the first three of all the love and heartbreak and young love, then the big gap, and all of a sudden he's older and and then now he's 40 and he's rapping. So I don't know how to take all that.
Well, let me ask you here. When It's Natural starts, and I've listened to it 4 or 5 times now, I started to really think about it sounding like it was going to be a Beastie Boys song to me, like with the way, like you said, with the beat starting almost like the bass, and then he comes in with almost like I could almost feel like that kind of swagger.
And that song, like, well, do you guys want to break down the songs for a minute?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard the other one first, Education one first, where that one really was like, to me, the whole Brother Ali, Mos Def kind of feel like he does the whole numbers thing, the 100%, and it adds up to numbers, which is a very Mos Def has a song called Numbers where he, for mathematics that, it does a lot of things. So, I mean, there's a lot of, so that doesn't surprise me, but that one, this natural one, the only thing I'll say about that one, which I'll say this for Seth and his, obviously the rapping is not going to be for everybody. And I applaud him for putting it out there and being, here you guys, this is what I wanted to make. And he has always said, even, is it 2012? He gave an interview once and he was like, look, one day we're not going to be cool. Sometime, we're maybe cool now, but then we're not going to be, people aren't going to always like us. People are always there's going to be people who just want the early albums. And he acknowledges that in that he's a fan and he feels that way about some people, but him as an artist can't stop growing and can't stop, doing it. And I'd want to know more of like when he got the courage to be like, okay, this is what I should do. Cause I can imagine him like messing around, rapping, and then but like, when was the point of like, okay, we should put this out? Like, that's what I'd really, one of the things I'd want to know. But
what do you think? I mean, does that imply then, like we were talking before, he released there's 2 new music videos that go with each song. And then there's not only that, but there's lyric videos, and there's a whole new YouTube channel. There's a whole new TikTok, and it's official Seth Avett. Like, is this signify something more, or is this just what people do for an album now?
Yeah, I think it's what they do for an album.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my guess.
All right.
So, okay, the It's Natural song, it was, that one, there's good lines, and then it makes me cringe just a little in that, I don't know, it's like a thing, like I can't, hip hop thing, obviously the braggadocious part of that song, I think is, I give him props for trying, but it's a little hard to pull off. This is the part where being 40, I think, is difficult. Like, it's one thing, like, and
so not that it's that Seth can't do it, but Seth at 40 can't do it.
Kind of like, it's odd. Like, okay, I mean, you're rapping on your first release at 40 something, which is odd, especially when we're at a time where, until recently, with like Slick Rick released an album, Clips, Raekwon, like mostly you reached 30 something and your hip hop career, your rapping career is over, because it is. I mean, traditionally,
he's turning the music world on its head. He's doing it in reverse.
Yeah. So traditionally, obviously, I mean, you're not 40 years old bragging about your rhyme skills. It's kind of what I'm saying. Like, that,
sure.
Which is a basis.
But he's not bragging about his gold chain though, or his,
he's not.
or his rims.
The thing is, he's bragging about other stuff in that song about, books he reads, like just, and he drops, the Hendrix thing, the Kill a Mockingbird reference. Like, he uses a lot of metaphors and a lot of things that are very Seth, but not exactly always in rapping.
And that's my argument, though. I think this, to me, I felt like this was an extension of some of the things they actually have already, or he and the band have already done with, like, they have, rapping sections to certain songs. I mean, like Indolence and things like that, where it's not straight rap, but it's like, it is rapping. He does his monologues in certain songs like High Steppin' and things like that. So I think he's into that wordplay more than people gave him credit for, you know?
Yeah, that's where I'm not surprised that it's happening. It's more, just to hear it and like, holy cow, I didn't see this coming. But
right.
I'm not bashing. I mean, I think he did a good job with his flow and the words. And if you think about it, okay, we'll take No Hard Feelings. There's 3 verses, there's choruses, and there's, so there's so many words. Let's say, I would make up a number. Let's say there's like 50 words in it, But you take, a Big Daddy Kane song from 1988, there might be like 200 words, in those verses. And the same thing with this. So he to write a song where you're rapping, there's going to be a lot more words instead of like the carrying of, you write an Avett song or his traditional Darling songs. And like every line is like, okay, I want it to sound this way, but now he switches and he's rapping, which is a lot different in the amount of words you got to pile in and connect and the metaphors again. And it's just a different thing. I'm interested to hear him talk about it. That's for sure. And like how he can, it just a little bit makes me, again, it all makes me laugh just being 40 and him doing it. I give him props for doing it. It's good. I mean, he's not going to change the world rapping. No one's, going to hear it and be like, oh man,
maybe that's not the goal, but I wanted to put up a little analogy here. So I was thinking about how you see Seth now where with the band, he's a lot of times he's in the forefront as if he's the rock front man. He's doing the guitar solos. He loves getting out there and playing Vanity and the other songs that really and like Bleeding White and things like that, which I really dig. But it's like Seth like doing something a little bit different than what people like, expected the band to do, 10, 15 years ago. And now you've got is Timothy, this other persona that wants to be a rap god. I don't know.
Well, Beyonce won country album of the year. Why can't maybe
there you go? He's trying to go the opposite direction again. Okay.
Right. The only I'll say is like to make the distinction of like, he's obviously not making a hip hop album.
Right.
I mean, he's not like
no,
he's
I
not.
don't know. I don't think
you have to represent that. First of all, to be a hip hop album, you'd have to represent the culture and the elements. And I don't think he's trying to do that. I think he's using now rapping is one element of hip hop, and he's using that, and he's got the beats and stuff. But I mean, there's no way he would even say that he's trying to make a hip hop album. Now, is he using influences from things? Well, yes, but he's not trying to do that, but he is, using elements. So, and that's what I give him props, and it's interesting, and it's why not? I mean, he's they've made, there's people who don't like Oh What a Nightmare or Nemo and things they've made, and they've made a lot of other, I know that they've made some crazy stuff that they've never even released, some more metal towards the metal end,
right. Well, even like during the pandemic, I forget, there was an interview where I think Seth said like he had written, when they were in isolation and everything was going on, he had written like 80 some songs that like they're never going to be recorded, but he was just making stuff.
I really can't wait to hear the rest of the album just to see what it is, what it sounds like. But go on.
Oh, I was saying how it is, like how does it all sound like, and how does it connect to the other? I want to see how I feel about it connecting to the other Darling albums in the series, and obviously more so the last one, because he does like, I do think they like this. They do look at their career and their art as in the big picture. Although this may be a chapter and this is a segment of his story, of the Darling story, but I imagine he does want it to connect somehow. So I'll be interested to see how.
But they are all his story. Like it's his story. So how does this factor into his story? Is it just the style he chose for this album telling his story, or is it going to be something else? I guess we got to wait and hear the rest of it to see. But, thinking, you said some people don't like it and all that. You see all these comments on social media with people just trashing it, or, saying they like it, whatever, giving it a chance. Do you think social media is bad for artists who experiment? Like,
I think it's bad if they read the comments. they concern themselves with it, which is why all the way back in 2006, Scott, who used to be a part of the Avett message boards, stopped because he didn't want to see bad comments about things. Just wasn't good for him. It didn't add to the art. And not that they still probably don't hear things and know things. And of course, I'm sure there's nervousness about releasing it and what will people think. And you wouldn't release something if you didn't want people to like it, but negativity comes with it.
Well,
but I
back
think
to like the set lists from last year, and do you think they heard people complaining about the repetitiveness of set lists and changed it up, or was it just because they were promoting an album last year?
I think they just got the feeling like, wow, we should switch it up. I don't think they paid too much.
I think Bob was being really, Todd, when Bob talked to us on the show, I think he was being really earnest that they did this on purpose. I mean, yes, they probably see comments, but I think sounds like they're doing things intentionally the way they want to do it. They always have been.
And you got to remember, there hasn't been an album of their, like, do you know how many people trashed I Am Loving You? There are people who didn't like Emotionalism.
Oh yeah. Well, that's literally my Avett origin story. Is the very first show that I got taken to by a friend was so mad about the sound of Emotionalism that he didn't think it was like OG Avett, and he didn't want to go see him again. I mean, how crazy is that, right?
Yeah. And early on, there's people who hated them because the way they played their instruments and that they were out of tune and that they broke strings and that, like, just people who was like, well, they're not a bluegrass band. They're awful. There's, like, you'll see those if you see some old school, like, YouTube videos, you can look through some comments sometimes and be like, these guys suck.
Yeah.
Like,
well, a lot of the on-stage discussion this concert tour, they've been really like 2 of the shows I've been to, they've been really introspective about stuff like that, and they've talked about it.
So, I mean, that happens. And that's like, it's funny, I told my daughter the other day who was worried about something she made and people hating it. And I was just like, well, I like the Avett Brothers. Let me show you some comments. Like, she's like, people say they're awful? Like, yeah.
There's just some unhappy people on the internet.
That just happens with everything, though. If you put something out there, art-wise or music or whatever, there's going to be people that don't like it, and they think people want to hear that you don't like it.
So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the next song, the education song? What's your thoughts?
I love it. I don't know. I've only listened to it a couple times so far, but I love the beat. The lyrics are great. I want to see it. I haven't seen it like written out yet. I want to read the lyrics to get, deeper into it, but I've got a bunch more listens before I can really say anything. Yeah.
It's just funny to me. Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I was just going to say my first impression was different because I was confused, and he released 2 music videos, like I said earlier, and then he released the lyric only versions, and they're separate. So like when I first saw, I think, Education, it was just the lyric version, so I didn't see the music video. I haven't even
seen those yet.
So then when I went back and watched the actual music video of him like talking to camera, walking through the cow pasture, I had a different. It hit me different, and I was paying more attention for some reason, so I did enjoy it.
It's. I mean, that's like I said, that one, I think I like that one a little bit better, but it's it's just it's just funny to me because it's all both of them. I listen to them and they're both obviously very Seth. Like, he isn't trying. The good thing I'll give him is that, like, and I think in growing up, obviously I grew up. Hip hop was my first love of music. I mean, from 5 years old. I mean, I own Rick Rubin's first record, hip hop record he released with his dorm room on the back. I mean, I bought that. That's like my 4th record. T La Rock and DJ Jazzy J. The it's yours. Like, I mean, I own my Run DMC Sucker MCs. So way before. I mean, that's not working with Rick Rubin. That's before Rick Rubin. But that's the one that inspired Rick Rubin a lot. I mean, I owned all those records as a little kid, and it's what I loved. And so I think being obviously it's always valued, like, and I think all art does, but like being yourself, and like it's hard to be, if people see through you when you're being fake and stuff. And at least in his rhymes, it's very Seth. Like, he's positive / very nice, which I guess that's what throws me off a little bit. I mean, growing up, Public Enemy, some anger. just these things, and then you get into more popular stuff in the 90s of Biggie and everything where there's, amazing lyrics, Wu-Tang Clan. We're very representing where they grew up, what they saw, who they were. I mean, that's the story. That's their story.
And that's what Seth's doing in a nice way.
Yeah, exactly. He's very much giving his story.
Yeah, why can't
It's
he be nice?
just, it's some of it's,
Also,
it's so nice.
I wonder. So, I guess I've learned for you sharing all this about how you started with music. I realized I had some similarities. Like I didn't start with vinyl, but I started with cassettes. And so, just to list them off, my first 4 cassettes that I can remember. First music I ever bought was License to Ill, Raising Hell, whatever the hell the first Bobby Brown. I don't know why cassette was. Cool. Yeah, and then and Belle Biv DeVoe, right? Oh. So that was my core set of music when I first started.
My first 2 CDs were Bobby Brown and Belle Biv DeVoe.
There we go. And to make the 5th, if you got to have a round number. It was Eddie Murphy's live album. What was that, Delirious? Which I was totally not supposed to have at that age because this was like middle school.
Rebel you. That's funny.
Yeah, well, that's like your parents didn't know what you're getting. Yeah. They're like, oh, you're just listening to your headphones in the car.
Listen to Eddie Murphy, right? Yeah, so let's see. Where was I going to go with this? Do we want to talk about the lyrics more? Do you have like the lyrics in front of you, Tim? Or
I don't.
No. What else did we want to talk about, Ryan?
I had to mute and cough myself out right here. Okay. Oh, you made me think of something, Tim. So
I just remembered what
speaking of my reaction of like I saw the song for the first time without just the audio. And I had one reaction, and then I had a different reaction when I watched him kind of performing it in the music video. But I wonder, like, do you like similar to the social media question is how people discover a new album, listen to a new album, experience new albums, change. I mean, I know it's changed. I'm saying is that for the good or bad of new music? Because it used to be that like you would have like. You would get the new cassette, and you would like rush home and you want to listen to it by yourself in your room, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and especially with social added in, it's kind of ruined that experience to some degree, other than like, I'll say the way I experienced Gleam 3, because it was the pandemic, was weird because they, so I remember they had like the pre-order and then you could download the whole album, like the MP3s or whatever. And we planned a listening party and didn't listen to anything in advance either. And we like listened to it at midnight when it came out, just so we could like have that old school kind of like listening to the album for the first time experience.
I mean, one thing I'll say about obviously one big way it's changed. I mean, as a fan in, it would be the 80s or 90s, you had to rely on either, obviously for me, I read the source and read how many mics, Nas, Illmatic getting 5 mics. Well, I had to own that, things like that. Or hanging out at the record store, hearing something, for me, because I wasn't a radio person. I mean, I was a DJ and collected records. So I relied on someone being like, oh, you need to hear this, or, a mixtape, or just reading a review or looking at the cover and taking a chance on something. And, you just couldn't hear everything. And now you can hear it before you spend your money and you buy it, or you can hear it and not buy it and just stream it all the time. And, there's no, I don't know, you don't have to make a choice. Like, I don't feel like you can just hear it and then be done with it too. Where, I was 16 years old and I bought, a new CD, bought a new record. Well, that was my record for the week because it was new and it was all I was getting. Right. I wasn't, I could only listen to the other previous things I had, but it was.
And then you would get really mad if you bought an album for one song and the rest of the album was garbage.
Yeah. And, you couldn't just be like, well, 8 albums came out today. I can listen to them all and see which one I like best. That wasn't going to happen, So, I mean, but with that comes good and bad because, I mean, I remember being obviously hugely obsessive about old records and all kinds of music, and there were so many records I'd want to see. I'd go in a record store and why is this record $200? Some old record. And like, how could I hear it? And now you just go on YouTube and you can hear, I can hear anything I've ever wanted to hear. Any rare, like a record that only 10 of them was made, and I can hear it, and, and there's good and bad with it all, and promoting, and then now promoting, like you said, with there'll be TikTok and all the videos. And I still think if the music is good and people connect with it, it'll last, and people will enjoy it, and it'll stick around, and some things will people will move on from. I mean, it's
that's what I'm saying. For Seth to be on TikTok now, that seems seismic to me.
Right.
In some regards, I just feel like they've been, like you said, withdrawn from social more than ever, except for like official announcements,
Yeah. And even then, like, they don't do, we don't get too many, every once in a while, a little Instagram video, but we don't get much on anything else. And sometimes they didn't even share the poster from the other night on their social media.
Oh,
you know what? I noticed that.
Yeah. Because then, obviously I save it and I put it up on the database, and I had to wait for
I saw somebody else post a screenshot of them, themselves or something in a group.
Yeah. And I think they shared it,
I think they did the next day or the day.
No, they shared it on Instagram, but they didn't put it on Facebook or Twitter or anything. They actually retweeted like the artist picture of it or something on Instagram in their story. Didn't make a post of it like in anything, which isn't the end of the world. And, and we don't get any more, like Joe doesn't share the pre-show planned set lists anymore. Like the band doesn't do that.
Right.
Which makes my life harder.
Yeah. Do you think Seth cares? I don't think he cares about this, but like when you put out a record now, and like you said, you can stream it and then decide if you want to go buy it. Like if someone doesn't like rap and they hear him rapping in 2 songs, they're probably not going to buy the vinyl. Whereas if they couldn't listen to it beforehand and you're an Avett Brothers fan, you're more than likely going to buy the vinyl. Do you think he cares that people, won't buy as many of them, perhaps?
Well, look, as human beings, we care. I mean, of course you care. You don't make something if you don't want something. I mean, I think part of you cares, but I think you got to separate it. Like, look, I made this piece of art. I made it the way I wanted to.
But is he to a point in his career that I don't think he's in it for making money and being successful and all that. He wanted to put this out.
But they've always, I mean, the reason they ever even signed with a major label, with Rick Rubin, was because so more people could hear the music.
Right.
Like you do want people to hear it, and but I think obviously, I mean, you're smart, especially them. I mean, they're not Taylor Swift or even anywhere near the realm of popular enough. They're not popular at all. Most people don't know who they are. I mean, I was recently somewhere and someone who knew who Tyler Childers was, knew who Sturgill Simpson was, knew who Jason Isbell was, and didn't have a clue. And I was like, oh, so the Avett Brothers. And they were like, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
Wow.
You never a clue. Didn't I name the songs, lyrics, like the May It Last. He's like just on his phone, like checking it, like, who are these people? I've never heard this music.
It's still cool that people are discovering them and liking it, though. I will tell you that. Like I have a neighbor who haven't talked to in 2-3 years, messaged me Saturday night, and they were going to the El Dorado show, or somebody told me that's not how you pronounce it, by the way, but went to the Arkansas show and loved it.
How do you pronounce it? Wait a minute.
First time they've been. I don't remember. Somebody was trying to educate everybody on the right way to pronounce it.
It's not El Dorado?
I don't think so.
Whoa, I'm going to look that up. Sorry, I just hijacked.
You learn something new every day, Todd.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, not Taylor Swift numbers, but I'm still really, I don't know, excited for new people to experience them for the first time because I know what that's like,
I don't want them to be bigger and more popular than they are.
For a long time, my wife and I were saying, we don't need anybody else in the cult. We're full.
I mean, it's nice when people recognize them and enjoy their music and you want to share it and that, but I don't want them to be hugely successful and then disconnect from their fans or whatever. Well, what happens when you get super famous and stuff. I like it where they are.
I don't know. I'm all right if they get bigger. They're not going to be. Can't get more disconnected than they are. It's not like they hang out now with fans or anything. I mean, that time is over. They got kids.
They won't even come on my show. I mean, come on.
No. I mean, that's why I'll be. I'm sure they'll appear on. I'm sure Seth will go on with some famous people's podcast or something. That'd be my guess. Like one of his somebody's friend.
Our yeah, we gotta get more. We gotta get more. Okay, look, I'm gonna show y'all real quick. I found, just so that you can be educated here.
Oh,
El
read that.
Dorado.
Oh, El Dorado.
Or is that El Dorado? No,
I
think
think
you're
that's
right.
El Dorado.
All
That's
right. Well,
Dorado.
I'm just dumb. It does say El Dorado in much of the U.S., so there's
Huh.
confusion here. So it says both of them are used. Interesting. Okay, sorry for the diversion.
Probably depends on where you live in the country. I'm an El Dorado.
I think maybe it's different in California than Arkansas is what I'm getting at here. And I think that's the point people are making.
Arkansas is probably more El Dorado.
I think they were making the point El Dorado. Yeah. Anyway. We might be wrong, and you can correct us in the comments, which we will not read because we don't want to read social media comments.
Sadly, I read the comments. I don't have enough of them to worry about it, though. Mostly the comments are good. All right, Tim. So what else is going on? I know.
Well, one other thing going back to say, do you guys think he will ever perform those two songs live?
I hope to God. I want to hear them in Florida or New Year's or somewhere. I would love it.
Will he do it? Didn't he do it with the Greg Brown album? He did an opening.
Yeah, he opened
for a show.
And
he was the opening act for a show like in Atlanta, right?
And there's been the two, like in 2005, he did the two Darling shows for the morning to Silver the Bell.
Yeah.
But I don't expect him to do a tour of any sort.
So is this
kind of interesting? If
this is the fifth Darling album, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big deal.
Let's see what the other songs are first, though. I mean, because there may be something else that's better that he will play at a show. I shouldn't say better, but different.
Well, it would be one thing to record an entire rap album with how many tracks would you say? 8 tracks or something, but to perform that whole thing would be a whole nother feat.
Yeah, like
Feathe.
He better have a DJ up there, and that would be,
I would die. I would love it. I'm not going to be a hater. I'm all about new and change and evolution, so I'm here for it.
And he better at least do one, wave your hands in the air.
Yes,
do some stuff, and then I'll feel good about it.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Maybe it'll happen.
I don't know, Todd. Your dream may be realized, but I'm not sure.
My dream may be realized?
Oh, I thought you were rooting for it. No? I'm rooting for it. Okay. All right. Well, September 5th.
I can't wait.
It's literally a week and a day from now, so we're going to find out.
Yep. That is next Friday.
So one of the other things we were talking about, I mean, we can close out with this comment, is around like my notion of Seth being a wordsmith. Like, he's been the writer of so many letters, or like you said they were mission statements, the way some of them have been titled for a lot of the albums that the Avett Brothers have put out. So I thought it'd be interesting to examine like all those letters. I only remember 2 or 3 of them, but there's more than that, right?
Well, there's in the early days, it would be like the band bios or like information about the band.
Oh, okay. Like liner notes.
Yeah, kind of thing. And then, and those would change over time. Like, with each album release, it'd get bigger, longer, more information. And then, they released a statement about emotionalism. And then obviously I Am Loving You got the big mission, official mission statement. And obviously Closer Than Together. I mean, they've changed it over, sometimes more dramatic changes than other years. But, they've always, Seth is, for the most part responsible for that. And he's written, when they re-released the first 2 Darling albums, he wrote something and, about them, talked about how he used to, he made those by hand with an X-Acto knife and piecing them together and burning the CDs and, all of that stuff, and like the amount of stuff he went through to make those, recording in his kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So he used to write stuff then. I mean, Seth has always written the things. I always figured if one of them wrote a book, it would be obviously be Seth, although Bob beat Seth to that, writing a book.
And Seth always writes on the back of the Guild vinyls too. That's always
So I mean, that's kind of his thing. Yeah, he's more of the words person there. Sit down and write something. So that's where it all it goes back. Like, it doesn't surprise you too much that, although Scott has always said kind words about hip hop. Like, he's just like, it's all, at the end of the day, folk music is, is just whose style of folk music at the end of the day. Everything is,
But Scott released a rap song before Seth, not directly. He did that star. What is that song? Stars on the Ceiling.
Yeah. He goes back. He was in rap metal bands. He in Cut Fat. He's rapping a ton. Scott is. So in the band Cut Fat in college, it's like so it's like a metal rap band.
So maybe Scott will make an appearance on a track as a collaborator. Then
that would be something. That would be something.
That's you heard it here first, folks. I think
you're right.
So I believe in that, Tim, that it's like the reading. So the notion of writing the diary, reading the diary, like especially like in the Gleam 3, we were just talking about this before the show. Like his song of reading out, what was it? I should have spent the day with my family.
Yeah,
like that song, and it's like it's very much like what I think is like straight folk. It's not like rhyming lyrics even,
right, just telling a story. I got to throw this out there and see what you think about it, Tim. I was talking with Kylie, my 14-year-old daughter. She's a huge Hamilton fan, and I played the new songs for her, and she's like, I don't really know what to think of these yet. I need to listen to them a couple more times. But she's like, I hear Lin-Manuel Miranda. She notices a Hamilton thing going on there, but she's just so into Hamilton. I think she just feels that. But
for me, that's me. I feel more of the like early 2000s, underground hip hop to me. I mean, if you honestly listen to Brother Ali, if you go to, streaming and stream his top song, and you'll be like, and the same thing with, you'll hear it,
So
that's what I do. But obviously the Hamilton one is rapping and it has things. So I mean, it's all kind of connected.
It's similar sounding. I think that's all.
I think you're onto something. Somebody I know said the same thing to me today
about Hamilton.
So same thing as they said. That's what popped in their head first. Yeah.
I didn't even think of it till she said it. I'm like, my gosh, that's all I can hear now is Hamilton.
I think that's a compliment, right? Like I don't know. It's theatrical.
My thing is, it's huge for someone who. Okay, if you're not a part of hip hop culture, like that's something that of that you relate to, and that you're like, oh, so rapping.
That's a good point.
And it's and again, and he's not rapping negatively or cursing or telling a story of the inner city. He's rapping his experiences and his life and his thoughts about a whole bunch of different topics, whether it be the things he would teach his son. Things that, aren't, ask your average person who just has like a general knowledge of Tupac, Eminem, you're not going to you wouldn't think of those things. But, where, again, in the Hamilton is a whole story and there's the rapping. So, I mean, I can see how all that comes together. But, someone who just is on the peripheral has some like basic kind of knowledge, like, well, then, they're not going to, it's not your normal thing, although again, like I said, there's a whole, obviously it's in every genre of music. There's so many artists and so much different styles that if you're not digging into it, you're going to miss, and you don't even know, that style's out there. So I connected more to the 2000 kind of what I would have at that time would have been like underground nerd rap, for lack of, that's how I would term it. I mean, it would be, kids who, we carried around backpacks, collected the 12-inch vinyls of of things, and they rapped about science and all kinds of, it wasn't about drinking, getting high. I mean, it's, sometimes it was obviously, but there was a lot of the rhymes are a lot about a lot of different things than what your average person would think of when they think of someone rapping. So, and I think he's more connected to that, and that's who he's. I mean, I know that's who he's like. It's people he's mentioned for over 15 years when he was listening to.
Right. Are these the first two rap song music videos ever recorded in a cow pasture?
Maybe, but there is the man. What's that? But there's a. I don't know. There's always been some. There's been some country rap and like and even I can't remember. It's a Crucial Conflict from like 1997. They had a whole song called "Hay" in a barn, So I'm pretty sure there might have been some cows.
Wow.
I don't,
song
these
is
are not.
awful.
These are not. I don't know if these are good analogies though. Yeah.
That song's awful.
This is a different thing. I think. I mean, it's like you said, it's influenced, but I would not call it country rap.
No, that's like it's not like, it's to me, it's not connected in any way to, your, I'm bad with the pop country like Morgan Wallen, who uses trap beat and they rap a little. This is completely different from that. Like this is way more connected. Like it's way closer to, like I said, late 90s, early 2000 underground rap than it's even anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Way closer to the other one,
Which is why this is why I appreciate it and why I'm so stoked about it. So
I love it.
We will see.
Some people aren't going to get it or like it, which is okay. I remind people of that all the time. You don't have to love everything. Like,
right.
You should be thankful.
Avett albums.
Wouldn't you be bored? Wouldn't you be bored if everything you agreed with everything?
But you should be happy that, like, it's not like you would want an artist you love if they're going to release, hopefully, 20, 30 albums in your lifetime. Like, you're not going to like them all, and that's okay. But you'd rather get all of that, and that's the whole story and the whole chunk of their art.
I'm impatient.
Yeah. 2 albums and you love them, and that's all you ever get.
I'm impatient, so I don't want to wait too long for the next thing, but I do want it to be good. But I think we've had good luck there.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, we will talk. Let's wrap the show here.
Oh,
and yeah. Oh,
wrap the show.
We're gonna wrap the show. Thank you so much, Tim, for being on. We're gonna put some songs with and some raps, I think, with this episode.
Yes. Plug your Patreon before we go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh yeah, you can go to Patreon, long story short, Avett Brothers Archive, just a couple dollars a month actually helps an awful lot. And I also put out if you don't want to be on social media so much, but still want the news, I put out a daily newsletter with just info, and that has links to it. And just kind of, so I don't make as many posts, obviously, on social media. I just make that one, so you can kind of see what happened on that day in Avett history and whatever news is going around.
I follow all of them. I follow that.
I'm loving it. I wanted to give you the compliment, Tim, that I'm loving the Substack distribution model that you started, because to me, my routine now is I'm reading that every day in my inbox on my phone. I love what you're doing with that. So
yeah, it's really, I'm glad that I did that. It's nice. It's better than posting 3 times in a group or on Instagram. Like I just do that, and the people who want it, and then they can be done with it for the day. And if you don't want to check social media, like, it's good. And then it helps me with my archive stuff, because then I've actually got a bigger list of things I'm looking for and things that I have, and organized of what I have, because I go through it like almost on a daily basis of like, okay, they've done 9 shows throughout their histoy on this day. What am I missing?
That's cool.
What do I need to fix on the database? So I go through it, I spend hours every day putting it together, and I put it out there, and I hope people, I think people like it. So
yes, love it. And I always appreciate you plugging the show, the Avetts and Beyond on there. I always appreciate seeing that. And I know we are part of the Avett scene, you can say, but I appreciate you taking the time to put us on there too.
Well, we need to do the shameless plug that no matter where you're listening to this episode, we're now putting out replays on Spotify. So if that's the place you want to do your thing, however you listen to stuff like this.
Of course, the videos on YouTube are my favorite ones, because you can actually see the interview happening. Although the music
it's not
and stuff
always the best thing, though.
No, not with our.
I think we've universally agreed that Todd and I have the faces for radio.
That's why I was in radio.
Right. Well, you're professional. I'm not.
It was.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. We're going to end on that note so we can play people some music, and let us know what you think of this stuff. Let us know what you think, and we're going to see the whole album get released next Friday on September 5th.
Can't wait. People are being vocal, some good, some bad. I'm here for it, though. Bring it. Can't wait till next Friday. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.